Hi, and welcome to Ivy League Analytical English. I'm Angela.
And I'm Wesley.
Today is August 18th. We're on page 53 of the magazine, and our article is entitled, this is the second day of a two-day article, by the way, and the article is called The Cadbury Story, Tasty Chocolate with a Lot of Influence.
我们的中文标题是抢救巧克力工厂大作战。
So, yeah, yesterday we talked a lot about the history of Cadbury chocolate, but also a couple reasons why it's important. Apparently, the Queen has given them a royal warrant, which means they're allowed to sell to the Queen, which maybe is not so exciting from the royal family's point of view. Like, they're like, yeah, of course. But from the company's point of view, it's a sign of quality assurance that the Queen is willing to buy from them. So that's a big deal. And then another thing is that, and this was cool and I didn't know that, apparently in the 1920s, Cadbury did like a market survey by sending school children a box of chocolates. And Roald Dahl, the guy who wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, was one of the recipients of these chocolates, which is what inspired him to write this story later. So it's kind of interesting that like a random marketing action inspired like a well-loved children's story.
我们昨天的文章里面有谈到这家工厂，这个Cadbury 巧克力呢，他们这家公司是1854年的时候曾经得过英国皇家的这个授权供应他们皇家的这个可能就是他们的货物可以供应给皇家，那表示他们东西品质很好。那同时呢，我们也谈到说1920年代呢，他们有一种做法这个行销的做法，就是把这个他们新的巧克力的一些样品呢送给学校里面小孩子吃那在当年一定是不得了的一件事情。那事实上这样一个做法呢，也使得这查理与巧克力工厂这个书的作者他其实就是当时的 one of these testers 他也是当时的那些测试人，对这个试吃人员之一所以数十年之后呢，让他想起写出过这本这个很有名的小说所以这个是我们昨天大概谈到的东西。
And another interesting thing was that, well, not as interesting, but we learned about their history that they didn't actually start off as a chocolate company. They were a tea and then a coffee company, and they almost went out of business, which was, I mean, that's a normal story for a lot of companies. There's lots of times that companies got really close to bare margins, but then recovered. And so they were one of those.
Yeah, 那我们昨天也学到说，这个他们本来是卖茶跟咖啡的不是一开始就是巧克力业这个行业里面的龙头那后来呢是这个他的创办人的两个儿子接手之后呢他们那个时候其实公司前景暗淡所以但他们有办法这个几年之内把这个形势扭转过来因为他们主要就开始做巧克力，而且后来越做越有名然后呢我们昨天也提到说他们事实上有2个观光景点就他们跟公司的产品有关的。
But I bring up that third point, even though it's not as much fun, because that's kind of the story we're talking about today. But this one happened recently. I mean, that they had business troubles recently and how they pulled through.
那这个我们刚刚谈到说他们曾经这个前景暗淡过，但是今天我们要谈的文章跟那个也有一点关系，就是他们后来碰到的一些问题他们怎么样解决了这些问题。
So let's read today's article. Cadbury chocolate is beloved by many people, not just in the United Kingdom, but also in many other parts of the world. In New Zealand, for example, news that there were plans to close the Dunedin Cadbury factory, which would have put 350 employees out of work, prompted a huge response. Some New Zealanders ventured to save the tradition of chocolate making in Dunedin. First, concerned citizens formed a community group calling themselves Save the Factory. It put in a bid of 20 million New Zealand dollars, which is 14.4 million US dollars, to purchase the factory, but failed to acquire the property. That didn't stop Save the Factory from pursuing another alternative. Later, the group decided to approach a much smaller chocolate manufacturer called the Otago Chocolate Company, Ocho. Through a crowdfunding page, they raised 2 million New Zealand dollars in just 24 hours to help pay for a major expansion of Ocho. With the injection of so much cash, Ocho plans to expand from its typical production of 90 kilograms of chocolate a week to between 400 and 500 kilograms. Naturally, this will mean Ocho is hiring more staff members, including many of the former Cadbury workers. The owner of Ocho, Liz Rowe, said one of the big motivations for the expansion was to keep people employed. Saving some of those jobs was a huge impetus. One of the values of the new company is to create as many jobs as possible, she added. The company will also move into a new, larger factory, import new equipment, and look at opportunities to export its chocolate, which has a distinct New Zealand flavor due to the use of ingredients found in that country. So I said that the story was similar, but the difference is that Cadbury didn't reinvent itself to save this factory. The difference is that the people reinvented themselves to save themselves, which I kind of like, although it does put Cadbury in a bad light. It's kind of interesting they're telling this story at the end of a story about Cadbury.
Yeah, 好，我们刚刚一开始就说，我们看今天可以看到 Cadbury 碰到了什么问题啊？他们怎么样克服了这个问题？不过其实比较精确的说，并不是 Cadbury 他有提到 Cadbury 碰到的问题啊，但是事实上，今天我们谈的是一群纽西兰当地人，他们怎么样想办法这个拯救了他们自己的一个巧克力的工厂。
And I think it's an interesting story, really, because oftentimes when large bad things happen to us, especially to communities, it's very easy to be like, oh, can't do anything and just throw your hands in the air. It's not easy. I'm not saying that these people had a very easy path in front of them, but they did find a solution because they stuck to it, which not everybody can do, and not everyone has the, because sometimes you still need a bit of luck for this all to work. But they managed it, which is to say it is possible to manage.
好，那今天这个故事其实我们也可以学到一些东西啊，例如说很多人碰到像这样的这个事情的时候呢，大家都会觉得哎呀，这个不是我一个人能解决的啦，那没办法，有什么办法呢？人家工厂就要关了啊。好，但是今天我们看到当地的人呢，一群人他们觉得说不行啊，我们要想办法这个自救啊，所以他们真的做到了啊，他们拯救了他们自己的这个当地的一些产业，然后呢增加了就业机会。
So let's go to our first paragraph and look at it. Cadbury chocolate is beloved by many people, not just in the United Kingdom, but also in many other parts of the world. This is an entirely non-controversial statement.
好，那我们看到这个句子，他说呢，这个 Cadbury chocolate is beloved by 就是 loved very much by many people， 很多人都很喜欢他们的巧克力不但是在英国而且在 many other parts of the world， 而且在世界其他的地方，很多地方都一样，大家都很喜欢。
In New Zealand, for example, news that there were plans to close the Dunedin Cadbury factory, which would have put 350 employees out of work, prompted a huge response.
好，那例如说在纽西兰呢，有这个新闻跑出来了，说 there were plans to close 有一些计划要关闭这个 Dunedin 这个地方的这个 Cadbury factory。当这样子风声跑出来的时候呢，那这个如果说真的关的话 which 就是指如果真的关掉了这工厂的话呢 would 这只是假设语气或者是你看这其实都过去式了它会怎么样呢 put 会让350名员工 out of work， 让他们没有工作那这个 put 这个字在这里用法很特别它是就是 to change one's situation 的意思那这个事实上这种用法还有很多大家很熟的，例如说 to put somebody in a good mood， 那个 put 跟这里这个 put 意思很像或者 to put somebody in danger 跟这个 put 意思都很像所以这里就是它会让350个人没有工作的意思。那这样的一个事实呢 prompted 就促成了一个 huge response 促成或者是导致大家一个很大的反应，就是换句话说大家觉得哎呦这怎么可以，这怎么得了。
So the author put these two sentences together to create a transition from yesterday's part of the article to today's. However, it is slightly dishonest.
Yeah.
Because he's making an equivalence between that Cadbury is a product that is loved by people to that people were upset that a factory was going to close. I mean, people weren't upset that the factory was going to close because they were worried that they would no longer get Cadbury chocolate. They were worried about the livelihoods of those factory workers. So it's not quite, it's a false equivalence. And it's kind of like the reader is going to have a feeling like, wait, what? What did you just do? And so it's not actually the best way to make a transition like this.
好，那这个地方呢，其实我们如果从写作的角度来讲的话其实这两个句子显然就是作者开始要导入他今天要讲的东西但事实上这个第一句话说大家都很喜欢这个巧克力，然后第二句话说这个有人说要这个当地巧克力工厂要关掉了 那造成大家很大的反应。这两个之间其实衔接不是那么的顺因为很多人，全世界的人都喜欢吃这个巧克力，跟这个工厂要关掉会让350个人失业，这两个之间其实并没有直接的关系你可能这里工厂关了，在别的地方开了，我只要吃得到那个巧克力我就没关系了。但在这里作者因为他要讲，接下来要讲这家这个如果关厂的话当地人有什么反应，所以他就开始用这样的方法导入这个新的一个 topic， 但是不是非常的顺。
To be honest, though, this is the kind of transition that happens a lot in advertising texts, where people say one thing and then they say another thing that seems similar, and they hope that you'll make a connection between it and a positive one at that. So you can be aware, like, this is a good example of what you can be aware of in writing, where writers are going to maybe take advantage of not close reading.
那这种手法呢，在这个广告写作里面常常会出现就广告呢，他会先讲个东西吸引你的注意，然后呢，这个想办法在趁你有点不注意、没有想清楚、没有看清楚的时候呢，把你的注意力转到另外一件事情上面所以大家也可以练习，像读到这样的这个文章的时候呢，你也可以学着看出来这个作者他在企图做什么事情。Yeah.
But I don't think that was our author's intention. I don't think he was trying to trick us. He was just trying to go from being generally positive about Cadbury to saying a not quite positive thing about them.
Oh, of course. 那在这里当然我们的作者并不是要这个像广告一样就想办法企图改变你的或怎么样，他事实上这作者在这里只是想要把这个话题转到工厂这个地方来。
So the third sentence in this paragraph said that some New Zealanders ventured to save the tradition of chocolate making in Dunedin. I suspect that Dunedin is a factory town, like they've just got one industry and they only know chocolate making. So to venture to do something means to try to do it. So they're like, some New Zealanders were like, okay, we got to save this industry in Dunedin.
Yeah, 而且 venture 不只是 try 它常常有一些 risk involved.
Yes.
或者是需要一些这个一个 daring action.
Which is why we talk about venture capitalists for people who lend risky money to people to do risky businesses.
Yeah, 所以这个 venture 总是有点冒险的成分在里面或者是这个事情很难做的意思所以有一些纽西兰当地的人，他们想办法试试看能不能挽救这个 Dunedin 这个地方的制造巧克力的这个传统所以那个地方呢，显然他们制造巧克力是整个镇常常这个大部分都在做的事情。
So what did they do to try to save the factory? First, they formed a community group calling themselves Save the Factory. When you talk about concerned citizens, this is a collocation that just means, okay, these are activist people who are trying to make something happen. But it sounds better to call yourself a concerned citizen. I just care about this community, rather than an activist, which sounds like someone who attacks people. Which is not true. I don't agree with that. I'm just saying that this is sort of an association that people have with activism.
Yeah, 这个 concerned citizens 就是关心此事的市民但在英文里面呢，当我们看到这种 concerned citizens 的时候呢，其实我们想到就这些人，他们其实是一些当地的一些蛮活跃的人所以他们才会出来号召大家一起做这样的一个事情，他们是某一种的 activist。那这些关心此事的市民呢，他们 formed， 他们组成了一个 community group， 一个社区的团体他们自称是什么呢？ Save the Factory 他们自己给自己的名字叫做拯救这个工厂 Save the Factory。
Then the group put in a bid of 20 million New Zealand dollars, which is 14.4 million US dollars, to purchase the factory, but failed to acquire the property. So Cadbury didn't sell to them, which is a pity. Where did they get this money, though? Dang.
Yeah, 所以他们果然非常 active 所以能够弄到这个集资这么多钱。所以呢 put in a bid 就是他们投标就是要有一个标案，他们投标你也可以用 place a bid 或者甚至于 make a bid 都可以所以他们出多少钱呢？这个纽西兰币呢2000万，差不多是美金1400万要希望能够买这一家工厂，因为这工厂要关的你要关没关系，我把你买过来。但是呢 failed to 未能他们未能这个取得这个工厂的这个财产。
That didn't stop Save the Factory from pursuing another alternative. They're like, oh crap, we failed, but we're going to try something else.
但是这并没有让这个 Save the Factory 不继续想办法 pursuing pursue 在这里就是追寻另外一个 alternative 替代方案。 换句话说，他们工厂没有买成，但是他们并没有停下来，他们并没有说好那就算了，所以他们继续的去想办法看有没有什么其他的替代方案。
So this is a very positive way to tell the story, to be honest. However, I remember reading the news about it at the time, and before they came up with this alternative, it was really bleak because a bunch of people who originally had work and jobs and they were moving forward with their lives suddenly were thrown out of work. And it's not like they can wait around for this group to come up with an alternative. They have to figure out how to feed their families and, go on with their lives right away. So it was a very hard moment when they failed to purchase the factory.
那这个事情发生的时候呢 Angela 老师还记得他那读过这个新闻当时的人其实尤其是工厂关了之后，这些工人他们其实这个非常的那是一段很困难的时间，因为他们必须要决定接下来要怎么做，因为他们必须要养家他们也没有办法说等等看看这个 save the factory 有没有办法想出其他办法等等的所以当时对这些工人来讲非常难过的一段时间。
So whenever you're talking about a transition like this, you have to remember that people's lives, when they're in play, there's a lot of factories that aren't necessarily involved in a simple storytelling like this.
Yeah, 所以像我们读到这样的一个文章的时候大家要知道一个故事或者新闻报道，它其实背后有很多东西是它没有那个空间或时间来讲的。那你自己要能够想得到看得出来说事情没有这么简单。
So later, their alternative was that the group decided to approach a much smaller chocolate manufacturer, and this place was called the Otago Chocolate Company, but their brand name is Ocho.
好，这个 approach 就是接触提出一个这个proposal 所以后来呢，他们就决定转而接触一个小很多的这个巧克力制造商制造公司，它的名字叫做这个 Otago Chocolate 那或者也它简称Ocho.
And this next sentence kind of describes a very miraculous process. Through a crowdfunding page, they raised 2 million New Zealand dollars in just 24 hours to help pay for a major expansion of Ocho. So you can imagine the dealing that's going behind the scenes. Like, if we can get you the money, you can do this. But they're like, we don't have the money to do this on our own. You can imagine all the desperate negotiating going on. And then that they managed to do it, that they got people to donate 2 million New Zealand dollars in a day.
Yeah, 所以这个背后其实有很多的这个谈判折冲等等的所以他们透过了一个 crowdfunding 就是募资集资所以他们在网络上面募资那有一个 page 来募资，那透过这个募资的网页呢，他们 raised 就他们这个征集，他们筹集了200万的这个澳币在24小时之内那用这个钱来帮忙支付这个 Ocho 一个大规模的一个重大的 major 的一个 expansion 一个扩张，也就是他们把这个小工厂呢把它变成大一点让它扩张。
So with the injection of so much cash, like they suddenly got this huge wad of cash, so Ocho plans to expand from its typical production of 90 kilograms of chocolate a week to between 400 and 500 kilograms. That is massive. They're going to 5 or 6 times the amount of chocolate that they used to produce. That is not an easy jump to make for any company.
Yeah, injection 是注入的意思本来也可以指打针但在这里呢就是指这个 cash 进入这个注入。事实上英文也可以讲 a cash injection 所以你可以说 Our club just got a cash injection 我们的俱乐部呢刚刚收到了一笔通常蛮大的一笔现金的这个注入所以他说当你有这么多的现金进来的时候呢这个 Ocho 他们怎么样呢，就靠这一笔这个进来的现金，他们计划要 expand 要扩展从他的 typical 一般的production这个一天呢他们本来是可以制造90公斤的巧克力，他们要扩展到差不多400到500公斤一天的产能要扩张到这样的程度。
Naturally, this will mean that Ocho is hiring more staff members, including many of the former Cadbury workers. So it's a chocolate town, so they all know chocolate. So they're probably going through and trying to find workers who are available, who maybe not moved on to other work, who are going to be valuable workers for them.
好，所以 naturally 这当然呢这个就表示 Ocho 他会这个聘雇 hiring 更多的 staff members 这个工作人员那包括很多这 former 之前在这个 Cadbury 工厂工作的人因为他们现在工厂关了反而没关系，你可以到这里来工作了。
Now, the owner of Ocho, Liz Rowe, said one of the big motivations for the expansion was to keep people employed. They're like, okay, we got to do this because we got to give these people jobs. She said saving some of those jobs was a huge impetus. Notice it's some of those jobs. They couldn't save all of the jobs. And she says one of the values of the new company is to create as many jobs as possible. So part of this company's motivation is basically social responsibility. We're trying to keep people in work.
好，所以 Ocho 的这个拥有者啊，他的老板啊 Liz Rowe 他说呢 ，one of the big motivations 啊，这个很重大的动机 ，motivation 就是一个动机哈、啊，所以我们一个很重要的动机啊 ，for the expansion 啊，我们这个扩大规模一个重要的动机啊，所以 motivations for something 啊 ，was to 是希望能够啊，所以这个 chunk 大家可以记起来啊 ，one of the big motivations for something。is to 啊，我们的动机是干嘛呢？我们希望能够 keep people employed， 我们希望人们还能保有他们的工作啊。然后他说 saving some of those jobs 啊，他们当然不可能所有的人这个之前这个 Cadbury 工厂的工作他们都留下来，不可能。但他们能够留下，能够救几个工作起来，这个呢是一个 huge 是很大的一个 impetus， 就是一个动力啊。我们就是希望能够挽留，希望保留，抢救下来几个工作机会啊。然后他说呢，我们这个公司的 values 啊，大家注意到 values 这个字呢，在这里是复数，它指的是 principles 啊，或者是你的 standards of behavior 啊 ，what is right, what is wrong， 或者 what is important 啊。所以我们公司的价值，中文可以翻成价值。我们的这个新公司的重要价值，我们的重要原则就是要 create。创造 as many jobs as possible 啊，我们要这个尽量创造工作。
The company will also move into a new, larger factory, and I suppose that was what the money was for. And they're going to import new equipment, and they're going to look at opportunities to export its chocolate. To say that they're going to look at opportunities to export tells me that they're basically a domestic production company. They only sell to New Zealanders, but now they're going to think about how to sell it to people outside of New Zealand.And they have like a product quality that nobody else has, which is that the chocolate has a distinct New Zealand flavor due to the use of ingredients found in that country. Because, of course, New Zealand is famous for its milk.
好，所以他说这个公司呢，也同时要 move into 要搬进一个 new 一个新的 larger 比较大的工厂 factory， 然后呢，他们也要 import 啊，要进口新的 equipment 新的设备。同时要 look at opportunities 啊，这个 look at 在这里是 evaluate 的意思啊，他要评估这个一些机会来 export 啊，来出口他们的巧克力啊。那因为呢，为什么 which 就只是巧克力？他们的巧克力有一个 distinct 一个很独特的纽西兰的 flavor 风味 due to 因为他们用了一些成分 the use of ingredients 这些成分呢是 found in that country 指的就是纽西兰啊。因为他们用了一些在纽西兰才有的一些成分，所以他们的巧克力会有一些独特的纽西兰风味。
So notice we said look at opportunities and not look for opportunities. You have to look for opportunities first, but then you have to look at them to decide if they're good.
Yeah, 好，所以 look for opportunities 跟 look at opportunities 不一样。啊 ，look for 是寻找，所以你要先找到机会 ，look for opportunities， 然后呢，你才可以 look at， 你可以 evaluate 这些 opportunities。We
have some questions for you here. Number 1 is, which fact is not used to support the writer's opinion that Cadbury chocolate is delicious?
好，哪一个事实没有被用来支持啊？说作者认为这个巧克力这个几百粒巧克力好吃的一个论点。
This fact that's not used to support the writer's opinion is A, Cadbury chocolate is expensive. Do you think Cadbury chocolate's expensive? It's not as expensive as some chocolate could be.
I don't know 啊，所以这个答案是 A 啊，几百粒巧克力很昂贵啊。那这个并没有被作者用来支持说啊，因为它很贵，所以很好吃。作者并没有这样讲。
And number 2, why did Cadbury send chocolate to children in the 1920s?
为什么几百粒公司在1920年代会把巧克力给小孩们呢？
And it was sort of as a market survey. It was B, to get their opinions about new products.
啊，这是一种市场这个调查的方法之一，所以答案是 B， 为了取得孩子们对于新产品的意见。
And number 3, which of these events occurred most recently?
以下哪件事件是最近才发生的呢
The answer is D. Money was raised for an expansion of Ocho's chocolate production.
答案是 D 啊，为了扩大 Ocho 这个巧克力的生产呢，筹集资金。
And number 4, what does Ocho plan to do?
那 Ocho 他们计划要做什么呢？
Of the choices, C is the best answer, and that is buy new machinery.
好，答案 C 这是他有提到的，他们要购买新的机器，好，他们要买 new equipment。
Because if you choose D, if you look at D, it says hire all of the former Cadbury workers, but they're only hoping to hire some of them.
啊，那答案 D 是雇用所有前几百例的员工，但是他们没有办法所有的前几百例员工都雇用回来，所以因为他文章里面讲到 some， 他们只能用一些把他工作机会救回来而已。
So that is all that we have for you on chocolate. And yes, now we have to go and find some. We'll see you again for more.
You still haven't found any?
I did after yesterday's show, and now I have to go find some after today's show.
Oh, good.
Bye-bye.